Okay, so everyone thinks ancient Egypt was this super serious, sophisticated civilization. Pyramids, gods, pharaohs, very majestic, very dramatic. And yeah, sure. But also, these people were genuinely unhinged, like properly weird. And nobody talks about that part. So let's talk about it. Number 1. So there was this pharaoh called Pepi II, ruled Egypt for about 94 years, longest reign in history probably. And this man had one very specific problem. He hated flies, like really hated them. So what did he do? He would pour honey over his naked slaves and make them stand around him all day just to attract the flies away from himself. That was someone's actual job, standing there, covered in honey, so the pharaoh wouldn't be annoyed. Imagine explaining that to your family. Number 2. Ancient Egyptians drank beer with literally every meal, breakfast included. Beer was so important that workers building the pyramids were actually paid partly in beer. So you could literally receive beer as your salary. And the reason they drank so much of it was actually practical. The Nile water was dirty and could make you very sick. Beer was safer to drink than water. So they just drank beer all day, for health reasons. Honestly, fair enough. Number 3. Pharaohs always wore these long, braided beards in all the paintings and statues, right? Very powerful, very intimidating. Except they were almost certainly clean-shaven in real life. The beards were completely fake, worn to look like Osiris, the god of the dead. And the funniest part? Hatshepsut, Egypt's most famous female pharaoh, also wore a fake beard. She was a woman who wore a fake beard to look like a male god. And the whole country just went along with it. Number 4. Everyone knows Egyptians loved cats, but it went way deeper than that. Killing a cat in ancient Egypt was considered a serious crime that could get you executed. Didn't matter if it was an accident. And when a family cat died naturally, the whole household would mourn by shaving their eyebrows completely off. No eyebrows. That was how you showed the world your cat had passed. You just walked around eyebrowless until they grew back. Completely normal. Number 5. This one is a massive myth that movies keep pushing. Everyone thinks the pyramids were built by slaves being whipped in the desert. That's not what happened. Archaeological evidence shows the pyramids were actually built by paid workers, permanent employees who received salaries, food, and healthcare. And not only that, graffiti found near the pyramids shows workers gave their crews names like the Drunkards of Menkaure and the Friends of Khufu. These people were out here building one of the greatest structures in human history and naming their work teams like a group chat. Number 6. Ancient Egyptians invented toothpaste around 5000 BC, which is genuinely impressive. Their earliest version was made from ox hoof ashes, burnt eggshells, and pumice, basically ground up cow parts and shells. But by the 4th century, their recipe had evolved into rock salt, dried iris flowers, pepper, and mint, crushed into a fine paste. A modern dentist actually tried this recipe at a dental conference in 2003 and said his mouth felt completely fresh and clean afterwards. It made his gums bleed a little, but he said it was better than most 19th century toothpastes. So yeah, they were ahead of their time. Number 7. This one surprises everyone. Cleopatra, the most famous Egyptian queen in history, was not actually Egyptian. She was Greek. Her family were Greek Macedonians who had been ruling Egypt for about 300 years, but had always stayed fully Greek, speaking Greek, keeping Greek customs, never bothering to learn Egyptian. Cleopatra was actually famous for being the first person in her entire dynasty to actually learn the Egyptian language. The most iconic Egyptian queen in history had to study Egyptian as a foreign language. Let that sink in. Number 8. Nobody knows exactly how King Tutankhamun died. He was 19, seemingly healthy, and then just gone. Scientists have found malaria parasites in his body and evidence of a badly broken leg. The leading theory is that both things together were too much for his body to handle. But one doctor also pointed out that statues found in his tomb show him throwing a harpoon at a hippo, suggesting he hunted them for sport. And his body showed signs of a catastrophic injury. So the most famous pharaoh in history possibly went hippo hunting, and it went very badly. Nobody knows for sure, but the hippo theory is genuinely on the table. So those are 8 reasons ancient Egypt was way weirder than your history teacher told you. Honey slaves, fake beards, eyebrow shaving, cat funerals, beer salaries, and a king who possibly got taken out by a hippo. Genuinely one of the most interesting civilizations that ever existed. If you enjoyed this, subscribe, because there's a lot more where this came from. See you in the next one.